The night finally came, my softball senior night, the night where seniors were celebrated for their hard work, dedication, and countless sacrifices they made to the program. After 4 years of my youth spent towards the team, this night made it all worth it. The night was lit with beaming stadium lights, the air filled with an odd but satisfying smell of sunflower seeds and fresh cut grass. More importantly, the stands were filled with fans. Whether it was family members, friends, or people who just wanted to be there to support us seniors, the field was never quiet that night. You could always hear the roaring sounds coming from the bleachers. It gave us players the thrill we needed to cream our opponent. It was easily the biggest crowd we had all season long. I don't know whose great idea it was, but we played our rival team, America's High School. The atmosphere was so tense. Drama began days before the game was scheduled. Rumors were spread about so-and-so. Parents from both teams were talking smack to each other. It was pure chaos. So, as you can imagine, the stakes were high going into the game. We had to win. If we didn't, it would be the talk of the town. Because we were the home team, we took the field first. Playing the field wasn't really what I was looking forward to. Sure, I was a good third baseman, but I was known for being a power hitter. Everyone knew I could swing the bat. 3 up, 3 down. Easy 3 outs on the field. Finally, now came my at-bat. I remember being slightly nervous, which I thought was a good thing, but as soon as the announcer announced my name and played my walk-up song, every worry in the world didn't matter. What mattered was me versus the pitcher. Who was going to win? First pitch, ball. Second pitch, strike. Third pitch, boom! I could see the ball right in front of me, going up in the air towards center field. I took off running because I couldn't tell if the ball was going to make it over the fence. But as soon as I rounded first base, I saw and could hear my coach say, "It's out of there!" I leaped in the air, admiring my 30 seconds of fame as I jogged around the bases. The crowd was cheering so loud I couldn't even hear my own thoughts. As I rounded third, heading to home plate, I distinctively remember seeing my mother's face. Her face lit up with pure happiness. That was the most rewarding feeling, a feeling of a daughter making her mother proud, making her mom say out loud, "That's my kid." After that hit, I was intentionally walked for the rest of the game. Yeah, it sucked because, hello, I wanted to hit, but it meant I gained the respect of our opponent. After 7 hard-fought innings, we beat our rivals 9-7. It was a hell of a game. Now came the emotional part of the night, celebrating our seniors, celebrating me for one last time. What almost felt like my second home. We had 7 seniors on the team, and I was the last one to get the spotlight. The way we were celebrated was each senior would walk around the bases, and different players and coaches were at each base. So as you got to each base, you would say your goodbye to whoever was at that base. As I watched my fellow seniors walk the bases one by one, I couldn't help but not feel any emotion. Everyone was crying, and here I was perfectly fine. Then, next thing I know, my name was called up to the field. When I started walking around the bases, yes, I was feeling some emotion, tearing up, but nothing too dramatic. As I rounded third base, I saw my whole family waiting for me at home plate with gifts, balloons, everything. Boom. It had finally hit me. I started crying like a little baby. Sure, it was funny looking back at it now, but in the moment, it was so heartbreaking yet heartwarming to think this was one of the last times I'd be wearing Montwood across my chest. But I had all the support in the world who was going to back me up. I hugged everyone who was waiting for me at home plate, but the most sincere hug was my mom's. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate and loved everyone else who was there, but there was something different when I hugged my mom. She hugged me like she never wanted to let go. And even though we were both gasping for air because we were crying, she managed to whisper in my ear, "I am so proud to be your mother, and I will always love you with all my heart." I already knew this. The tone in her voice gave it a completely new meaning, though. She spoke a language to me that only I would understand as being her only child. After crying for about half an hour, my parents took me to go eat and we headed home. Everything went right that night. Everything was perfect. Until my senior night was held on a Friday. Yeah, I felt like it carried on to Saturday and part of Sunday. Easily one of my favorite weekends ever spent. Then came Monday morning. Again, everything was normal. I was at school. My dad was working. My mom was at the house. And around 9 a.m., my mom sent a text to her family group message saying she has a pounding headache. Mind you, my mom complaining of a headache wasn't anything completely out of the normal, considering she suffered from an autoimmune disease that affected her in this way. However, shortly after her previous text, she again said, "It came all of a sudden. I need to go to the hospital. Something is not right." Now this was out of the ordinary. My mom hated going to the hospital. So her wanting to go meant things were really bad. Because I was at school, I wasn't available for the day, so my dad had to take her. I spent the day wondering if everything was okay, but I also didn't want to bother anyone with questions I had. So I just went on with my day as usual. As the day went on, no one texted me. Not my mom, not my dad, not my grandparents. No one. I thought that was odd. It was about 7 p.m. when I got out of softball practice, when I opened my phone and saw a message notification from my dad saying, "You need to come to the hospital now." As I read that text, I knew something was terribly wrong. My stomach felt like it dropped out of me. My heart stopped beating. My face completely numb. Later that night, I found out my mom had died from an aneurysm. My gut feeling was right. How did my perfect world from 48 hours ago now come crashing down? What did I do to deserve this? What am I going to do now? Countless questions with no answers seemed to race my mind all day and night. It was sickening. More importantly, the one person who would or could help me in this situation was gone. My number one fan, my rock, my everything was gone. It was unimaginable at first, but as time went on, I can't help but remember the mom the way she was on my senior night. The night where she was lit with excitement, filled with heartwarming emotions, and most importantly, showed and told me how much she loved me. And in return, I told her how much I loved her back. I will always remember my mother the way she was that night, the beautiful, pure-hearted woman she was. Although it is a bittersweet feeling, I am glad that we spent our last special memories we shared together, because if it weren't for that night, I don't think I would have ever realized how much of a mother-daughter bond we shared. She gave me closure I never knew I needed. I deeply miss her every day, but I know how much she still loves me, and she knows how much her daughter loves her.